What does that mean for your business, for your equity opportunity, for your overrides, for the exponentiality in terms of growth? I want you to think about this number. If a 10-minute live created 122 people, what would a 30-minute live do? Maybe even an hour. Who's charging you? It's not like you have to go pay Fox Business or go pay Bloomberg a bunch of money to have us, you know, be a guest there. That's very expensive. Um, and so here's the point I'm making is there's over 1,000 people joining HGI every month. And on Huber's standards, that's obviously very low, right? He's used to 10,000, 20,000 people. But making is just from since I joined HGI, there's been 130,000 people roughly that have joined the opportunity, right? And it's like everything, a few people doing massive production and a lot of people doing a little, but that's in Hubert's language and system, that it represents 100%. But the main thing here is that that if we just took 100, not 1,000, not 100, 1,000 of us, every single one of you here, right? Everybody here included, which is we're 66 of us. As a matter of fact, let's do an exercise with that. All right. Well, let me do the 1,000 so I can expand the vision of what's possible because you have uplines you can talk to, you have downlines maybe, and you have sidelines. So you can speak to everybody and say, guys, this is what we're going to do. If we're really going to dominate, well, we got to dominate the narrative in the conversation in the spots where people are already congregating. I don't see it. I mean, yeah, you can continue doing what has always worked, which is your natural markets and all that. That's fine, right? You worked your whole life to get to know these people, many of them, and some you've just met in a previous event. But why not do it the digital speedway? And so if we had 1,000 people, let's just say this, let's do the math because that, you know, math and the law of high numbers. Well, are you gonna you're gonna argue with those? So you have 1,000 people, all of us here. I mean, let's say we are part of the 1,000. And let's say we did 3 lives a day. Like, who is holding your hands from going live 3 times a day? Can you go live 3 times a day? Of course you can go. As a matter of fact, you could talk about the same thing. I know I follow a guy on TikTok that does the same talk every day, is the same talk every day. He has 700, 600 people and he says the same thing every day, which is don't put your money in a savings account, put it in a high yield savings account. That's his conversation. His conversation, he has 600 people, 500 people, and he's just telling people like why the difference and why maybe high yield savings will pay you more interest over time and what may be the bank to do that. And he's doing that. And how you use the interest on the high yield savings to pay a credit card faster. So that's his thing. But it's the same talk every day for all the months that I've been following it, every day. Because the traffic on the platforms is billions, billions, billions of people, right? But just to not lose perspective, if we have 1,000 of us doing 3 lives, that is 3,000 cameras and 3,000 voices and 3,000 scroll stoppers that were out there, right? So let's just say that on average, okay, we get the views. If I got 122 visitors or views in 10 minutes just to demonstrate that we are overthinking this. 3,000, let's say 500 visitors, then we have 1.5 million per day views, visitors. I'm not saying that you get a 1.5 million leads or none of that, right? But let's just say if we're doing it right, and after we polish that, because it's inevitable, what will happen is you just become better and better and better. So out of the 1.5 million views, let's say that only 10%, if we do it right, would stick around and we become some sort of a follower. Not so it becomes a follower. 10%. 90, we lose. 10%, like I kind of like the messaging. It can resonate based on what you're talking, based on your personality, based on could be many different things. But mainly you want to focus on making sure that the content you're sharing is good. So that's 150,000 followers collectively. Now you may not get that by yourself, but when you picture 1,000 people that we have, that there's like I said earlier, there's about 1,000 people that join HGI on a monthly basis. That's 150,000 followers. Now, those followers are still not doing anything for you other than showing as a follower in your platform. But it is an indicator that at least for that individual, whatever you were talking about was interesting enough. Even 5% would be significant. But 10% I think we can definitely achieve. And we can average that between the ones that will do extraordinary and the ones that, will have to work their way up to become first like average and then extraordinary. So we have 150,000. Let's just say that, and this is daily. I'm still speaking daily. Let's say that 1% of those, 1% will be either become a client or will become a recruit. That is 1,500. So if you just, kind of multiply that by the year, that is more business and more recruits than the company has ever seen in history. But obviously, the part that is missing is us coming to the party, is us showing up and being that consistency. Now, most people say, well, consistency and persistency is hard. I think it's a decision. Like I changed the story in my paradigm, and you may have a different routine. And I just basically said, hey, I'm going to, as I wake up in the morning, I'm going to do one thing and one thing first. It's body first. Because for a long time, like I can't find the time to go to the gym. I can't find the time to do like everything else got in the way, and I just didn't go to the gym and work out. So first thing I do, even if it's not with weights or everything, I say, okay, can I still do my 25 push-ups, 30 push-ups on a day? Can I do that? Do body? Can I do my, my four sets of squats? And but you do it every day, and then it just becomes that sort of routine, just like everything. And you may have a whole different routine, and you may wake up and be not necessarily prioritize the physical, but more the mind or the spiritual. Who knows? You know what your routine is. But the point I'm making is what is preventing us from making the decision now to make it a routine to just go live and share the value? Because if we're living the mission and the vision is we're empowering communities, we're empowering people, creating wealth for them is the wealth of knowledge, because you need to know what you don't know right now, the impact of just like I said, the impact of not being able to earn compound interest. That's robbing you from a lot over your productive stages of life and even to retirement. But making that decision, and I think that if we go live, if we do lives, just lives, it's just so much more. It's your authenticity comes across more. Even if you stutter or if you make a mistake or whatever, it just seems whenever you're live, and then you correct as you go. Versus if you are trying to make the perfect video with the perfect everything, it's very difficult to fight the oh man, I didn't like how I said that. Let me stop it and redo it. And so you're going to be spending, instead of just, doing a 15 or 30-minute live and you're done with it, you're going to be doing all these videos that will take you like hours to edit. And you're like, man, because you're trying to make them so perfect. So my invitation and my challenge to every single one of you is that we look at our activities and incorporate into those activities the marketing mindset of things, because maybe one thing I didn't mention, and I'd like to hear from even some of you, is that yes, when I first got my license in 1999 to come into the insurance space, in my mind is I'm gonna be the financial professional. But it wasn't until I shifted my mindset to I am not in the insurance business or the annuity business or the AUM business. I'm in the business of marketing. Then that created so much more traffic, like massively, because I was marketing first and then I was doing the planning later. And if you don't believe, you can easily just go to my Facebook account and go to photos and go all the way to the history to like 2010. You'll see all the radio stations, all the TV stations, all the seminars with really, you'll see like all kinds of different demographic, Asians, Indians, um, that I was targeting at the wealthy. So I did all kinds of marketing, and that was the moment that made caused major breakthroughs. Obviously, back in those days, social media was not really the thing. It wasn't until, at least maybe it was, but I mean, for me, it was like 2012, 2013, even before HGI. And right after HGI came when Facebook introduced the news feed, where you would scroll and you would have a news feed. And then we that's what I use in terms of understanding marketing to recruit 3,000 people in Mexico, right? And then you'll see the whole history right there, as a matter of fact. And so I think it was important to have that conversation today because if we talk about Weblit or zybrzeus or Abacus or all those are tools that you can use, but they almost become meaningless to you if you're not using them because you don't have a client to help. So the key is really how do you bring the opportunities first? And sometimes if you're like me, I would have not have the opportunity to be here with you, I think, after calling all my friends and family, and they all almost rejected me because of the reputation I had at the age of 18. Now, many of you are not 18 like I was, but in my story, everybody's story is a little bit different. But at least for me, what would happen if at that moment I could not get anybody because of that? Then that's when I shifted to, okay, so I got to master the art of phone call, and I have to master the art of how do I get in the door, right? How do I get in the door? Even just walking on I'll choose an area. How do I get in the door? Now it's different times today, definitely different times. But those different times, then what is the skill that need to be? If it's not going to be door knocking, and if it's not going to be cold calling, what is the skill that's required today? I think that is social media marketing. And the advantage is you are very unique and you will find your voice, but we only get there if you do it. You got to get over whatever is you may think is happening. I mean, I can explain, I can share with you that we all go through the same thing. Even I remember getting on that first radio show. I did not feel ready in that first 30 minutes of having a microphone in front of you for 30 minutes. At that time, you're like, you got the person over at the here, let me share this with you if you hopefully you get some value out of this. I do want to hopefully I inspire you with a little bit of this. And the main thing, it's very funny how what came out, right. I logged in my Facebook account, and this is the first picture that comes 13 years ago. This was right after a seminar. This is Vicente Serrano, this guy right here is Vicente Serrano, who used to have the most successful TV show on Telemundo. He is a news anchor. He's a professional, what do you call him? Not a reporter, journalist. He's a real journalist. And he became my client when he left Telemundo. He's like, I have this 401k from Telemundo, and I started to manage that for him, and he was very happy. So I invited him to one of the workshops that I did. Here's my beautiful wife Lorena, my sister, 13 years ago. This is before HGI. So here's what I want to show you real quick. If I can get, let me see, I think photos, and in the photos we go to albums, and I think if we go to albums, we can really literally go to, let's see, um, photos of you. So, so the thing is, let me see all, yeah. So, if I can get, if I can get this, if I can't get what I want to show you here, maybe it's an inspiration, then we move on to the next thing because we'll have to scroll all the way down to about 15 years ago. And these epiphanies, hopefully they help you a little in understanding that it's just don't overthink it. It's just go out and do. But social media and marketing were always that what helped me break through a lot of the challenges in production. It was always that. And I think right now with social media, we can do things very differently. So I'll be quick, just to kind of give you a little bit of the story. So this just before I started actually posting on social, um, I was doing just kind of struggling, obviously, through things. This is okay, look at this. This is what's interesting. The first photo I ever posted on social was my interview to Hubert Humphrey. And my interview to Hubert Humphrey, I was talking about the Hispanic market. This is 2012, July of 2012. Here I'm doing, my first ever sort of camera I use. It's interesting. That was the first sort of photo that I do. But at that time, I was obviously already doing seminars, like seminars for, well, you don't really see much there, but investing resources in these seminars. That's a client or potential client seeing my a little photo about who is the guy talking to me in front of me. I was working with other FMOs um, out of Raleigh, North Carolina, and here's the workshops I was already doing in 2012 and 2013. Right now, how did I fill this room up? Well, it's no secret. You have to spend $10,000 to get an opportunity to get those people to come to those typical dinner seminars. And I would close 20%, about 20% of what came. So I've always made six figures, but it's marketing. Like I understood I was in the marketing. I wasn't going to get them on cold calling, and probably was not going to get those clients on what do you say, door knocking. But the message was IRA planning. I said, if you come to workshop, I'll show you 5 strategies to extract hundreds of thousands, if not millions, out of your IRA without tax. Obviously, I'm talking Roth conversions right at that moment. And that brought rooms and rooms and rooms of people. I even had other advisors and agents come in to see what I was doing because every room was always packed. That's me right there, and I'm teaching people on these things. And that's when I was able to see the potential of this business to earn, two to $300,000 sometimes per case when you're doing like sort of estate planning and you're selling 25 million second to die policies to protect the estate because there'll be some projected estate tax issues, da da da. So I've done planning on all levels, but it is not, again, it's not about me, it's about what marketing did. And even at the time where I'm thinking, man, is that, like not ready? Here's more. Now I'm not telling you to go do dinner seminars. That's not what this is. The epiphany of the change is understand marketing, and now you could do it at such a smaller scale. I had a bodybuilding time as well, but and so this is where entering the radio. Here's the radio show. This is the actual radio show between that combination of radio shows that are than a lot more expensive than um, dinner seminars. They're still a lot more expensive than doing a TikTok. These were all uncomfortable things for me, which they may be for you. Like this right here, I'm so uncomfortable. I'm talking to people that may have 100 times more wealth, and here I am talking to them about those different strategies. But that uncomfortable moment helped me grow significantly. So if you feel uncomfortable going on TikTok, imagine how uncomfortable I felt. English not being my first language, my like 10, 20, 15 years ago, my English was nowhere near what it is today, and it still needs a lot of work, right? But but those were the uncomfortable moments that help you grow. And then I leveraged social media. And these events right here, this is Mexico. This is the first Top Gun event that we did. Here's Hubert in Guadalajara, Mexico, 13 years ago, 14 years ago. These people that I got here to these events came from leveraging social media because I was paying 2 to 3 cents a click in those times. There's nowhere you're going to be able to do that right now. I mean, you could do it, but it's not going to be 2 to 3 cents a click. It's going to be a lot. But I'm like, I'm like, I did a little video that was like 3 minutes, and I'm blasting it all over, all different cities, all over Mexico, and it filled the rooms. Right? Fill the rooms. Here's Norma talking in Guadalajara, Mexico, to about 400 people that would at the Intercontinental Hotel in Guadalajara. So what I'm telling you guys is, what is the skill of this moment? How can you make use of the tools, the weblet, the zybrzeus, the abacuses, all that? Is driving the traffic. And you have heard and you have seen gazillionaires now make the money and they're influencers. That they have a big microphone that they use every day. I hope that made sense. And we're going to leave it like that today. Hopefully, I'd like for you guys to send me a message, say, hey, here's I did 3 lives today. And I'm going to lead with that example. So I'm going to put it in my part because I've already been through that. It's just that I got lost in the way building technology to help us produce better, capture the leads. Because again, those things that I saw back in the day, it's like, wait, I'm getting all these leads come in. How do I capture them and nurture them? And then people were charging back in the day $10,000 to build up a funnel. Literally, I could maybe go and find those. And then later, a couple of years later came the click funnels of the world, the go high levels of the world, that if you want to use their platforms, they'll cost several $100s. At least we give you a free version that can help you grow and not have to upgrade until you're actually ready to go for a much higher, if you have a much higher need for it. Um, but it would cost all that money to do it back in the day. And so we thought, okay, can we build something? And that's the genesis of zybrzeus, which is obviously now the weblet, which is built on much more powerful technology. Um, but that's that. I think to I'm open for any comments you guys have, any questions on that. But the invitation is that, in summary, is can we just not overthink? We, you know, it just came to my mind the movie, and it came to my mind because I shared that earlier today on another meeting. Is the Leonardo DiCaprio's movie Catch Me If You Can. I don't know if you raise your hand if you've seen that, but Leonardo DiCaprio Catch Me If You Can movie. He's like, how did you manage to teach a class of PhDs in the university? You know, when you didn't even like maybe you went to college. How did you manage to teach them? And he said, I was just one chapter ahead. I was just one chapter ahead. So if you're gonna hear, you could be one chapter ahead to teach the wealth formula, and this is what you teach. Just be one chapter ahead, and you can get out there and you can basically educate people. Obviously, to be on the safe side, I would say just gravitate only around concepts. Don't get into the specific company or product, or because then you have to do a gazillion disclaimers and a bunch of different things. But if you if you stick with just rule of 72, there's literally you can find over 100 concepts, if not maybe 1,000 concepts you can teach on to be that one chapter ahead and be able to go live and then be able to generate traffic. Or you can talk about the problems, the challenges that we're having, AI, everything that's coming. Like what can you do to protect yourself from that? I mean, everybody here is super smart to be able to figure that part out. So if there's any comments or questions, I'm open for them. Thank you all for listening, and hopefully you got the message. Yeah, Himanshu, what's up?
Hi, Mauricio. This is Amisha, the other half.
Yes,
Okay, so great teaching. Love to learn from you. You've been joining for the last few weeks.
yes.
And Abacus, it's the great tool. However, our team members are facing issues. They're not letting them sign up. Do you know is anything going on?
Yeah, there's a pause on signups for now, and I think I did say this 2 weeks ago, but it'll be reopened very soon, maybe a week or two from now, where the first wave of people, let's say they're beta testers. So what we're doing is we're collecting a lot of feedback from a lot of people right now. And the improvements are phenomenal, what we're doing. I mean, it was a great tool, as you saw it. Whoever have access to it, have access to it. But we're just improving it in areas to be very precise on every single number. So once it is like officially released, maybe at the convention or something like that, it'll just be something that works really, really well for everybody. So just, I don't have the last word on that. That would be Hubert. They're going through also that feedback. And so very soon you'll be hearing good news on that. David,
Awesome. Thank you so much.
not a problem. Hey, David, what's
Yes,
up?
sir. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Always good to hear,
Good.
to see you
Hey,
here.
that book that you've been showing us, did you order that through online on
Yes, it
HDI?
is on Aristotle. If you go to Aristotle, there is a store, and you can actually order that on Aristotle.
Okay.
Another one you could do the free chat GPT, say, hey, give me 100 concepts I can talk about, and you can choose from there as well to elaborate. You don't even have
Yeah.
to do the paid version. So two ways to do it. But this one's got amazing. This one's got, which this one's phenomenal. I think this one's got, oh my God, this one's got 49 different concepts you can talk about. Rule of 72, time and consistency, simple versus compound interest, market losses hurt you more, I guess it talks about when you lose 50%, you need 100% to recover type of concept. Taxes,
Right.
it's got indexing, it's got wealth formula, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 beautiful just concepts on life insurance. Anyway, so there's a lot right here. If I can show you, there's 50 things. So if you even if you didn't go live 3 times a week, let's say you did every Monday you go, you got a whole year worth of things you could talk about. And that's going to move the needle. I
And
mean,
like you mentioned, a chat GPT could probably create a lot of those also.
absolutely. I mean, it's because they can even give you sort of a guide. And if you sit down, you kind of digest. If you manage, if you may not master the concept, but if you sort of manage and be able to tell a story in 10 to 15 minutes, and you just go and you flow. All I can tell you is because I have been through, and many of you have probably a lot more experience than me, because I don't know everyone. That's a good group here today. 76 people, 76 journeys of life. So many of you could probably teach us on a lot of different things. I have the opportunity, obviously, to lead the Zyber Warrior here. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that you're going to get better. If you're anything like me, that this was not ready, did not master any of this. I just had to do it, and it was in the doing of it that you become better. That's actually in the leadership format system. If you go there, it says knowledge doesn't create activity, but the activity always creates knowledge. And that is
Right.
so true. I mean, it is really so true. If you saw me talking to those 65-year-olds when I was in my 20s, just think about what they're thinking. Think about the pressure that's on me, right? And from the limiting beliefs about my accent, my English being so broken, they probably been and with other advisors because they're all, I was attracting those people, but it was what it helped me grow when I was able to sit down because as bad as I thought I did, I was booking 60 and 70% of them to come to the office. I didn't close that number, but a big number came. So as you're sitting across the table with that couple and you're listening and you're going through, you're like, whoa, this is a different league than when I was knocking on doors, just selling term insurance or walking out of the house with $100 check for buy term and invest the difference. I was not in Primerica, and there's nothing wrong with Primerica. I was just selling what's called deposit term. You might have heard of it. It's not IUL, it's not term, it's deposit term. Um, but doing the seminars and then being in front of those people that were bringing a whole different set of problems than I had to really learn. And so I say that to communicate that if you do it, you will grow. It's like you start working out, you're not going to be able to lift all the weight at once, but you keep doing it over a period of time, and in 30 days, you will probably not be Mr. Olympia, but you will be able to manage that weight in a much, much more controlled way because that muscle is going to inevitably have to improve because you are executing.
Getting
It's
out of your
inevitable. This rule. So if there's no more questions, we will keep you updated. For those of you that may have questions on the weblet and the abacus, just wait for the second wave. And obviously the new users, the new adopters will just find a much easier, a much nicer things. Maybe I can. No, I won't fill you in. You'll just be blown away for what you'll find once we actually do the new update from all of the feedback that we're getting. So for those of you that are using it, keep using it. And if you want to provide some feedback, provide some feedback. Some people are providing the feedback even if we're haven't told them. Like we have some people we have asked to provide us feedback, but we're getting even more feedback from other users, and that is only improving this so much more. So excited for what we should announce here shortly. That's all for today. Let's go have a record day. And we have Hollywood's in our hands now. Let's go. Let's execute. I challenge everyone. Let's go do it. Let's get 1,000 people. Let's go live 2, 3 times a day, and we'll see that recruiting skyrocket. Huber's going to be like, "What's going on? I don't understand. What's going on?" It'll be just us doing all that activity and educating all those people that are navigating social media today. Thank you all. Appreciate you very, 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 very much. We'll see you next Wednesday and hopefully come with a lot of great news. Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you, Mauricio.
You're very welcome. Take care.